Well, I'll show you. I'm kind of I'm actually changing it again through the code. I was playing around with it last night, but I'm gonna redo the code now. I can play it now. Let me see how it looks. It looks a bit janky. I need to actually fix the animation. Yeah, I'll show you now. It's like a little. Basically, I like doing like the angle of approach. And if you come off like enough parallel to the wall, it'll like trace off to see if there's like another wall that you could jump from. But I think I'm just gonna do it differently. Like I think if you just it just traces left to right, checks for any adjacent ledge, and then I'll get the normal of the adjacent ledge and see what angle that's on. And if it's like 90 or like within that range, then you can do it, or within a certain range or whatever, you should be able to do it. I'll show you now what the animation looks like. Because the actual root motion is actually working. There's a bit of a sliding. I think it'll do it. Let's see. Okay, so it actually does do it, weirdly enough. But it's just like there's a weird slide. It doesn't look very. You can like jump off, spin, and catch it. I need to fix the armor. It like comes across and slides back to itself, but you have to run at like a really weird like if you do it like this, it won't do it because you need a quite a small angle of approach. So like the angle of approach is like if the ledge is there and you're running forward, your angle of approach will be like 10 degrees. So you need what I really want though is that you should just be able to run straight at this wall, and then it detects that there's an adjacent wall to the right or left, and then it does it. Because then I mean, if I just run straight, it shouldn't do it. It should just do like that one. But or if I'm trying, there's another one that's quite good. I'm trying to think which one is a nice one. Let me see if I can get it. You just gotta run a bit. If you go fast enough, it'll just do the. There's a couple more. There's like I did like 3 more. And if you go faster, I'll do that one. That's quite nice. That one's really good. Yeah, so it only works in the corner, but really, what's weird is that you have currently the trace picks up. You have to like aim it at the end ledge, but really, I want to be able to like aim it at this wall, and it say, oh, there's something there that you can actually do the run up to. But you should only do that if it's on a wall that's like. I mean, really, it should be an input, but you should be able to do this and then do it, rather than have to. Oh, this is actually. Because currently then you have to do it, you have to aim sort of for the corner, and then it does pick up the other wall. Yeah, so if you like kind of come up and then you're like there's like a corner wall, so you can't really go backwards. You can like angle yourself in to be able to still get up. So it's like, because I'm pretty sure if you try and if you're here, you're actually too close to do any actual. Yeah, you're too close to do any actual run up. Yeah, the aiming of the corner kind of it does kind of work out. You sort of aim in that region, and you can run along the wall, and you can run along the wall, and it'll do it. But that's the issue there. Like if the angle of it, like it sometimes collides and stuff, and that's just wrong. So I'm gonna change the way, like, because technically when you do it, I'm guessing when you guys do your run up, you wouldn't aim at the ledge in the corner. You'd aim to jump off this, just knowing that you have something on the right to grab to. So it's more like, I'm guessing you'd run at the wall and then jump off the side. And I mean, I guess ask you as well. Like, do you think it's something? Well, are you free for like 5 minutes just to jump in Discord real quick? Actually, a couple questions for you, Audrey. But if you see, like, it actually does, like, so now for the rest of the stream as well, if you see the angle of entry, um, yeah, you'd aim at the first wall, yeah. Okay, cool. If you, like, come in at a certain approach, it does. So the angle of entry there is 30 degrees. Because that's basically the surface of the wall, the angle of entry, rather than it being, like, what way am I coming in, it's like you take it off from the wall, off to, like, where you're going, where you're coming in from. Imagine you're facing out from the wall, and it's like, what's the angle at which your character's coming in from? So if I'm coming in from, like, this angle here, yeah, angle of entry is still 36, which is, the animation is completely wrong. So I do think it needs to, okay, 26. Low. One sec, I think it, yeah, one sec, sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, shit, okay, yeah. Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, I swear I can hear you too. If you just speak for us, I just want to see if the stream can hear you.
Hello, testing. I better mute it on my TV, otherwise
Yeah,
we like
yeah.
15,000.
Crazy echoes, yeah. Yeah, they can hear you, cool. Yeah, sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've seen it. I mean, I'll share in the Discord, so there's no like weird delay. So if you watch that. So basically, at the moment, what I'm doing is I calculate this angle of entry, which is sort of like, imagine you're the wall, and it looks at, okay, where are you coming in from, and the angle from the wall off. So it'd be like, this is 32 degrees or whatever.
Right.
Then when we add other animations, we can have ones like when you're coming in from like a 45-degree angle onto the side of a wall, so you can be like twisting your body, just so it's like, though, because I don't know if sometimes if you look, like, if you come in at an angle, the warp is a bit. So if I come in here, I mean, that looks slightly
looks
good.
so good.
Yeah, but if you come in like it sort of like warps to get to that point. The rotation, and it just doesn't look as good. So when we do our next mocap session, we'll record some like run-ups coming in from like 30 degrees, coming in from like tighter angles, like just stuff like that. Maybe you even have to like go out, turn around, and you could do whatever really. But yeah, so what I wanted to ask you is, when you're doing this 360 run up to the wall, you'd aim at this wall here, and this is what, like, you wouldn't really be aiming for this corner like this. You'd be like, aim at this wall.
I was confused what you meant at first, but now I get what you mean. Like, your detection is coming off the wall on the right. So it would always be like you're fully aiming for that straight wall. It's basically what I was gonna say was, this is the start of tic tacs, actually, because we call that a 270 tic tac.
Okay,
or like a two-step 270 or whatever. And so it's kind of like the detection system that you figure out for this will probably be what ends up becoming tic tacs, because like if you were running at a much wider angle to this first wall, then you wouldn't do the spin, but you'd probably just do a left foot like tic tac and then go straight up to the wall on the right. And so it's kind of actually like, it's one of those ones where it starts off as a little thing, but it's actually probably quite a massive new like tree of animations and movements.
Yeah, I mean, I think as well, it might be, as if you lay it down the line, we'll probably end up splitting this movement into different, like, one to jump to the wall and one to then do the 270 off to the next wall. But for now, I'm just like, let's put it on one button, let's get the character just doing everything, and then the controls need to flesh out. But okay, because then, thinking about that, like you said, that if you're angling like this, because I mean, we could always also do the angle of approach to this flat wall as well. So like, if I'm coming in at 90, you know what? That's actually probably how I do it. That makes sense. So like, if I'm approaching this wall at night, like 90 degrees, I'm basically saying like from flat up is like straight at it, like it's coming straight at the wall. Then the walls I'm checking for are either like anything like beyond, like I'll do it like in a trace, then like 90 degrees, like left to right, to check for like whatever
Yeah.
kind of wall. Whereas if I'm approaching like this wall at 45 degrees here, I'll then do a check that's like 45 off of that wall to check if there's any adjacent walls there. So like the
And
more angled you,
it's almost like you're only checking for the adjacent walls because there's no option on that first wall. Like you
yeah,
can't actually pop up. So then you need to check like, all right, can I use that wall to go left or right? And then it's
yeah,
like, yeah, there's a nice height. So then you can do the 270, I suppose.
yeah, 100%. That because what will happen is if it actually does detect a wall, it will just climb up it. Um,
Yeah.
at the moment,
Yeah.
obviously we can when we add controls, that's when we'll get a bit more like you can even if there's a possible climb up, you can choose to do something else, but that was further down the
Yeah.
line. Um, I think really this is like if the higher the angle you approach this side wall here, if there's nothing to run up, we then trace like just like a perpendicular like to the side of it, like out
Yeah.
like sort of from here to there, at whatever
Yeah.
angle you approach. So if you approach like tighter, so if I approach
Hmm.
like this or whatever, then it'll trace quite tight and be like, okay, you need because you're not really gonna be if you're approaching like this, you're not really gonna be able to get out there. Well, actually, I don't
You
know.
can, but it would be without the spin, so that would just be a regular tic tac. So you do
Take to
left
that
foot
should be
on the
step
wall
up.
and then just go straight into
I
arm
see.
jump, cat hang, whatever on that right with no spin. But
I see.
so this 270 move is actually the other, yeah, like basically from 90 straight on and closer. That's when you do the 270, like
270.
straight on and smaller angle, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. To be fair,
It's
that's
so much easier if I could show you in real
yeah,
life.
I know. To be fair, I mean that's actually that makes a lot of sense because we can just get that with coverage. So like it'll pick
Yeah,
depending on how I approach this wall.
yeah,
Um, it will pick the one to do. I think what I'll probably end up doing is just um, if you don't, I'll do it now today. Um, if you can't climb up, which what I have now, if you can't climb up there, then I'll trace forward to see. Okay, well, are there any adjacent walls at any point? So is it like if I trace out what like here, so like I'll trace just left and right from whatever trace I'm
yeah.
doing, like a sphere trace in like different angles. Um, so if I go up here, I'll trace right and left and be like, okay, well, are there any adjacent walls along this
Hmm.
path? Um, and if there are, then oh, that makes sense. Yeah. Then if there are, then we'll take the angle of your approach to this wall here. That'll determine
Yeah.
what you do. So if you come in at like a 45-degree angle, you'll which that's fine because then in this animation here, we have like angle of entry here. And whether or not it's like left foot or right foot.
Ah,
So it can
nice.
either
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
require a wall on the left or a wall on the right, or both, and then it can do like a step kind of thing. Like
Yeah, 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 yeah.
um, and then the angle of entry here, it'll like take that into account when it does the matching. So they're all pretty much all of these are 90, and then this one run I've not added. This one here is like a really low, like a zero. Like there's no angle. It's like basically parallel to this wall.
Yeah, do you have any straight tic tac animations, like just a left foot on the wall into like hang position?
We might. I don't know yet. I've
Yeah.
literally all of these animations have come from like half of this. I've just got. There's just so many. I have literally all of these to go through. It's like yeah, there's a lot. Um, so we might very much so might. Because but yeah, that makes sense. So your target, if there is no run up, your target becomes this wall, and then we check for
Yeah,
any adjacent walls around it, and then we
yeah.
see what's the angle to this wall and what's the angle to this wall, and then we pick the animation based. Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I think that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That's so sick. And then I guess it's then the angle is basically how you go through the bank of animation and what goes from like a straight tic tac to a 90-degree tic tac to a tic tac 270 to a tic tac fucking 360, whatever is depending on your angle of approach is how it picks it. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, because it will literally when it'll do this, so I have like a 4D vector that includes this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's because it Drew's echoing. Because um, yeah, I guess yeah, you're right because the angle of entry Yeah, the really because the way we're approaching now, it's all about coverage. So your coverage will
Yeah.
determine what you can do. Sort of like we're basically, and then this is like we can fine tune it. We had a good chat with Dado, yesterday about sort of like blocking off certain things to like allow for like progression. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, if this angle of entry changes, like let's say hypothetically they're all at the same speed, height, and forward distance traveled. Um,
Hmm.
the only thing that would then determine which is the most appropriate one is what angle at which you approach the wall. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it
Exactly.
is there's sort of like there's two elements here really. It's like an angle of entry onto the plant wall and an angle of entry onto the adjacent wall. But I think
Yeah.
this step off should be more dictated by the animation rather than anything else. But
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. So right now, how are you? It's just the angle of entry in relation to the wall on the right that you're going to climb up on. So if you just run up really tight, you can do it anywhere. You don't actually need the corner. Is that right?
yeah, so at the moment now, actually, okay, basically, it's I do these two. So if I run up here, I basically and I run up at like 10 degrees. I'll do
Yeah.
then another run up again. Not the run up, another check. Um, yeah, another check like 10 degrees off from this way to sort of just
Yeah.
find like a 10 degrees on, 10 degrees off to see the kind of run up. But now I think about it, that's not very right. It should really be like you said, run up. You're aiming at this wall here, and then we look. Okay, well, I'm coming in from this angle here. Like,
Hmm.
do I have any adjacent walls around me? If
Yeah.
so, find the like an optimal point or like the ledge location on the adjacent wall, wherever. Um,
Yeah.
and then we then match the one to do based on my angle of approach to this wall here. So if I'm coming in at 90, so straight on, then I'm gonna do one of those 270s or whatever. Well, it
Yeah.
also depends on
Yeah.
where this wall is in relation. So if this wall is like rotated like this,
Yeah.
like then the normal of this wall here. So if I come in at 90, the actual normal of this wall might be like will be going off like this
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So then that's a different angle as well, which really should be like like counted in
We
when I do
need
the
the
matching.
coverage. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
But I
Yeah.
think yeah, okay, for now I think for now what I'll just do it so that it takes into account you basically I'm gonna get it so that you can aim at this wall and do the jump up to this one. And then we can
Yeah.
start looking at changing the angle of approach to be able to do like 45-degree ones and
Mm.
super like left
Would
10-degree
that
ones.
work mirrored as well? So if you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if it was swapped the other way, like the wall on the left was short and the wall on the right was tall, would you do the 270 but it's mirrored?
Yeah, yeah. So it'd be the same. So we'd mirror the animation, and then because like here, then they'd have technically the same value, but some would
Yeah.
require the left foot and some requires the right foot adjacent.
Right. Yeah.
So it'd
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like
I'm
depending on
with you.
the either one,
That's so sick.
and like sort of. So I think Christian puts like, if you were running up wall, would you make it a player choice like a flick left? Yeah, I think at the moment now, just as we flesh out the logic for the like climbing, I'm not going to give the player, I'm just making it pure matching, but then I'll filter that based on what the player wants to do. And I also think we should, like you said, should separate the movement. So I think it'd be like a flick to jump onto here and then like a 270 flick or something like that to then do the
Yeah.
270 to
Exactly.
here.
Yeah. You would want that.
Um, and that will, so then we can even split it up. So it can be like if you jump up to here and then do just a flick right, you just do like a bounce, bounce. Or if
Yeah.
you do a jump
Yeah.
onto here, 270, you do like a spin catch, and then it's like then we look
Yeah.
at fails from there.
Wow, there is a lot of animation that we need because with every one of these, it's like obviously we need massive coverage for every possible outcome, like different heights and different angles. But we also need like fail equivalents for each of those as well. It's like insane amounts of mocap data.
Yeah, we had a really good. So we're discussing this yesterday. And next time that we discuss it, whatever about, we had a really good chat with like Christian. And he was saying how like one of the things to do is like keep the player in the game, like try and minimize failing as much as possible. Or like, and I think you like
Yeah,
fail should be as uncatastrophic as possible in the sense of like they don't
yeah,
kill the move, like you'll still do it. That's why like there's one animation. I'm trying. It's this one here. Let me see if I can actually recreate it. Go
Yeah,
a bit
it's such a
faster. I'm
good
pretty
point.
sure.
It goes back to what we were saying about effortlessness of moving around.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
this one
this
here where
looks
you sort of
sick.
hang on and then
So
pull up.
good.
Um, yeah,
I
that one
love
like
that.
so fails sort of like that. Maybe you like, can do it like slip or like, and it just takes longer to do, so you'll slow down a bit, but you don't kill
Yeah.
it. And quite weirdly enough, those animations are the ones that make everything feel nicest. Um,
Yeah, it's so true. That is such a fucking good point, actually. It's like actual failure where you're fucking crashing and burning. It's like that should be super, super rare. And that has the advantage of it being more novel as well. If you're just like breaking every bone every other kind of time you try a pre, then it's sort of like it's not funny or exciting when you do fail. And it's
yeah,
like the default should be effortlessly kind of flowing around the level, and that should be our mission from a an animation and controls point of view. It's like we want it to be as easy as possible to go anywhere and do anything, and then the failure as a kind of gameplay mechanic comes in after that, and it should be super kind of funny but unlikely and occur less
yeah.
frequently.
We were saying as well when we were discussing it yesterday. We're saying sort of like so like the first 5 minutes anyone plays is probably like the most important to like get them hooked on like, oh, this game is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and so we're sort of saying how we could like sort of having these like different like banks of moves to sort of like limit the banks of moves or successful moves that the player has at the
Mm.
start, and sort of like tailor them more towards the ones where they're fails but they're quite like cool looking fails, like the ones where you
Yeah.
swing or your foot slips and different things like that, because those feel really realistic. Those feel like
Yeah.
it's just not. And then as you progress, as you gain more experience, then you get access to, or as you like, say you had like a skill tree, as you unlock, like you put points into, I don't know, your power, points into your cat passes, you unlock more of these like
Mm.
better, cleaner, faster ones, um, which like gives a sense of progression. But it would be cool, like when you first start the game, you have access to like 20 run ups, and we just make it so that these 20 are very like visually appealing. So the ones that
Yeah.
like look quite interesting, like you swing, you like some like like 360 stuff, like that kind of stuff. That should be right.
Yeah, wow, that's super interesting way of thinking. Actually, it also makes the whole kind of skill progression thing. It kind of makes sense now with this like animation banks, because it's like you were saying at the beginning when you don't have much experience in a cat pass, it's like you limit them to the sort of slower, more basic cat pass animations, and then as you progress, you kind of lose a load of the basic small ones, and you get access to more of the kind of Toby cat passes where you're like sprinting around and at higher speed you can go further and stuff. And it's kind of like, yeah, that this is just how the whole game's going to work, isn't it? It's just like
Yeah,
kind of these banks of animation and categorizing them with the different gameplay mechanics, like advancing your skill or like stamina or like I don't even know what other categories there'll be, but I guess they'll become more and more obvious as we get deeper down the rabbit hole of
yeah.
making it. That's
But
so
one thing
sick.
that's interesting, like that's I kind of thought of this yesterday. Like if we did have a sort of skill tree that allowed you to invest points and unlock like or experience or whatever into that, and not make it crazy. Like you don't have to play like 1,000 hours to get to be the like the ultimate parkour athlete. Like eventually
Yeah,
you want to be able to do everything. You know what I mean? Like you want to be able to have all the jumps and have everything. But like as you progress and as you play the game, you can like each person can sort of tailor their own star, or their like each star will
yeah,
have different like skills. So some will have all the cat passes, some won't have all,
yeah,
like, so that will automatically, and you guys can pick that really. Like you can be like, okay, look, Drew's best at 360s, give him all the 360s, everyone else has less,
yeah.
whatnot. And then but it also allows the actual player to sort of differentiate between themselves. So like when you do it,
Definitely.
you could be like, well, I'm going to invest all my points into speed, power, and cat passes, so I can
Mhm.
jump far, jump further, cat pass higher, cat pass further. Someone says, well, I want to be more of a techie parkour athlete, so I'll put my points into like the techie moves, like 360s and 270s,
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
can do more of these stuff. And so when people play, just from how your own personal preference, you get to actually be like a more of a unique. Like not everyone's the same.
Yeah,
Your actual
yeah,
character
that's
will do
so
different
good.
things based on how you choose to well sort of train it. Really, like in real life, you say if I only
Exactly.
train 360s, I'm sick at 360s, but I suck
Yeah,
at cat passes. Well, it'd be the same
yeah.
here if you, or you can be
And
all
especially when
rounded.
it comes to online stuff, that it will become apparent. Like me and you are playing online. It's like, how the fuck you're running jump so good? And it's like, oh well, I did all the running jump missions, and like I spent
Yeah,
all my points on jumps, and it's like,
literally.
yeah, fucking hell,
And
that's so
that's where that
cool.
skill gap comes in, because then someone who played 1,000 hours will be like, oh,
Yeah,
I've unlocked everything, so it's like I can do it all, and and that's fair enough. Like if you played 1,000 hours, there should be
yeah,
something, like
yeah,
to be like
exactly. You should have
you
a
have done it
significant
all,
advantage. Yeah,
And because it's
yeah,
real life, like someone that's trained parkour for 15 years will be able to do pretty much everything.
yeah.
Whereas like if you just do a year of cat passes, your cat passes might be sick, but everything else will suck. So it is like it's
So
pretty realistic.
yeah. And everybody, it's like so true to life because everybody has their kind of specialities, and like it literally works exactly
Literally.
that, like that. Like some people just have incredible fucking side flip prees, and it's like then you see them do a climb up and it's kind of like, Jesus Christ, like how can you be so good at one thing and so bad at another? But it's just where you spend your time or your XP points, I suppose.
Yeah, 100%.
um yeah, what's Christian saying? Having
Having
soft
soft fails where you adapt on the fly will feel great. When you recover and keep going, yeah, maintaining flow will open up more moves. Um,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I think that whole the fails and speed, I guess, is always the dynamic. That's like the better you execute movements, it should give you a speed or flow advantage or both. And that's kind of generally in most of the game modes, like multiplayer races or time trials. It's like that's really what you're playing with, is trying to get your timing and execution perfect, because that's what's gonna give you the speed advantage.
yeah, we do actually have like a little session marker thing at the moment. You like hold it to get rid of it, and then just tap it to place it. And it's actually so like in any game like this, I think it's so necessary. Like if you like, because I mean I was using it to attempt um this wall run up a couple times. Um, if it was messing up, then I could just go back down here and be like, okay, let's do it again. Um, no, I got rid of it there. But yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you
Let
got
me
that. Nice one.
I'm gonna get cracking on. Cheers for that. That fleshed out a lot for me actually. Makes a lot of sense.
Sick,
Um,
man. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep watching and just give me a shout if you have any more questions.
I'm gonna do, bro. Cheers, man. I'll catch you in a bit.
Sick. Nice one, man. In a bit.
Yeah, let's do this. So the angle of entry, like that's fine. Um, that actually works now. Let's do it so. Well, the two things I also wanted to fix the hand-eye case stuff, where because currently I don't do a trace exactly along this ledge line. The trace is sort of. So let me turn the low back on. The trace is sort of determined by the forward vector of the character, which is wrong because sometimes it tilts. Like as you're warping through, like rotate, so it's not always along the ledge, the line of the ledge. So with that, let's rebuild this quickly, make sure we don't have any errors, and then let's fix that. So. Cheers, mirror. Yeah, no, that thing about soft fails, that they also feel the nicest to do, and like you almost don't mind it. Like so important. Which I always just thought like, oh, you fail completely, and when it happens, it's really annoying because you actually kill gameplay. Like you just stop moving, which I guess one of the most fun things about games like this is that, like Riders Republic, Skate, like they do a really good job on keeping you just playing. Like even if you mess up, you'll still, because no one wants you, when you're not doing anything, it's boredom. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that next, there's so many. That next mocap shoot, it's like there's so many so many things we got to do. But like so many more interesting stuff now. Now that we have a kind of idea of how to approach it, which has been weird. Like, as each time we do a mocap shoot, we learn more, and like we then take it into be like, okay, what if I wish we had this. Like as you go, you learn more what would look good on mocap and how to also mocap it. The best practices for that. Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. So, what do I need? What do I actually need? Yeah, honestly, I don't. I do not pity. I pity whoever. Like I do not envy whoever is doing these mocaps, especially the fails. I need to think of. Can't really. I don't know if we could do it on just raw concrete because I'm anticipating a lot of falls. So yeah, we'd have to really think about that. But I pity whoever's doing it. I can't lie. It's gonna be tough. I always feel bad because like even when we did it with Benj, it was just sort of me and Dado like directing Benj to do all these different things. Like, oh, just jump on this wall here, just do like a 360 off this, and oh yeah, just do a cat pass. It's like just like come on, keep doing all these different moves, and then you realize this is actually like physically exhausting. Like and it's crazy. Like this is hard. Like it's actually hard to do. Like for us, we just see them. Oh, like it's nothing. Like oh yeah, just do a 360. Like just do a reverse vault into a cat pass and do a tic tac up there. We'll just keep one good flow. But they're like shit. Like oh, this is hard. But get some meal deals going. What am I doing? I used to think I'm gonna fall into something else. Yeah, 100%. Which is another cool thing, like failing, turning into something else, which would be quite cool to see as well. I don't even know what am I doing. Yes, so I don't even know what I'm doing. Let's debug all this stuff. Let's do. Really be rough. I do not envy whoever has to do it. I think I've got a climb mat. Someone has a climb mat that he uses when he does actual outdoor bouldering. Rest it. Yeah, so this is currently so we get the right vector of this, which is just because it's not like exactly right. What we really want to do is get the ledge normal. Let's rotate this vector 90 degrees. Yeah. So ledge location plus that rotated 90 out that way. So that plus that, we should go like that. Hopefully. We hope. We hope. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. Really, I guess. Just to see how this trace looks. I'm most excited to have the jump and vault systems back in with the new climbing, especially for all three systems. I think there's one thing we're missing, just like that. I don't think we've quite hit the nail on the head yet. I think that is soon there. In terms of just the jumping, just jumping from around from A to B. Really, this should just be a thing. Known for a sketchy save when it comes to all the challenges. I haven't even that is one thing that I don't even think we've even touched on like the whole element of water stuff. That's like a whole nother gameplay system. Oh, beautiful. It works like an absolute charm. So much better. So basically explained before, all the issue I was having was with this stuff is the basically all I did this change was to actually rotate the vector based on the actual surface normal. I wanted to look along the ledge for the perfect points to put your hand to based on where you are running up onto, before I would use the character forward vector, which is wrong because if you're coming in at an angle, it's actually rotated slightly off. It's not perfectly straight compared to the thing. So where you place your hands is, I want it on the ledge, not beyond the ledge. So now it's actually on the edge, which is nice. So now you shouldn't have any points where you do place your hand through a wall. Yeah, all the points are always on the edge. Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. That was an easy fix. This needs to be optimized no tomorrow, but it's another day's job. It's tomorrow David's job. Okay, let's start doing this angle of approach stuff. Sam has got some good water options in this new level. Oh, wicked. Yeah, we need to actually discuss that as well. Sort of because I think the water stuff is pretty star iconic. So I think it'd be cool to be able to swim. If you drop into water, you can swim out, and having dives and stuff into water. How we mocap that, I'm not sure, because the suit probably blow. We'll have to see about that. Oh, to be fair, you could probably dive into a foam pit. Yeah, that's probably what we'd have to do. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool though, to have actual diving. Probably not the focus, but having a couple animations, like flips off into water and dives in and stuff like that. And again, that could be a whole fail kind of thing. It's a precision. You don't stick it, and you can save it by diving into water or what. But yeah, no, it'd be cool. I also think it'd be cool to like, if you dive but you land in concrete, then it's just ragdoll, like you just splat. Which I think is quite interesting. So it doesn't even have to be like specifically exclusive to water. But I think it'd be quite funny to be able to like run and dive off this as if you're gonna jump into water, but you just land on concrete. It could be quite fun. Yeah. Do it now. Okay, let's actually make a function this thing. Okay, so if you haven't found a valid runup, 100%. So yeah, if you haven't found a valid runup, you really should do like, I call it a climb tic-tac check. That's me. Okay, so yeah, a lot of these traces are reused. I need to like, yeah, a lot of this is just, but that's later. That's optimizing all this stuff. I can't program code. Don't look, any programmers here, don't judge me. Okay, so let's first trace forward to see if we get just a hit. Also, with this, I also don't like the idea of this trace radius being more than the line trace. Actually, like to try and find a wall. I don't like the thought of it being more than the line trace right now. Yeah, so just take this. Take this one out. Plug it in, let's go through and take all. So okay, so we're gonna do capture location, forward vector, up vector, half height, whatever. Number of traces, cool, blah blah. So the trace start is gonna be that plus. Oh yeah, because we want to start lower. So up vector times by the half height times by minimum run up height. So whatever gap off the floor you want it to be. Then you take it down, move it down by that. Plus whatever up vector times by the index, so it moves up however accordingly by 1. Then we say that the end of it is that plus the forward vector times by the forward run up. Yeah, so like however far forward it wants, which is fine actually. That's very valid. This is also Yeah, okay, that's fine. That is still valid. That's the forward trace, and we do the trace, blah blah. Draw debug. I'm gonna say for 1 frame, just so I can debug that. Cool, easy peasy. Now, so if we do have a hit, so you've hit a wall. Basically, this finds a ledge, but we're now not concerned about finding a ledge. We want to now see if there is an adjacent wall, and then based on that adjacent wall, we'll try and find a ledge. So if there is a hit, we then need to. Now this is the only thing. We could trace right or left to find an adjacent wall. Which, I mean, yeah. I guess we could just do perpendicular to it, but we'd have to come off it a little bit. No, because you're just gonna hit the wall, quite frankly. If you're tracing from the impact. What we could do. What we could do. We could. I wish there's like a pad I could show on here so you can see what I'm visualizing. We just got paint. That's the best method approach. So we have our wall here. We have a wall here. Here. Then we have a guy. So we're running this way. Now we want to basically check if there's an adjacent wall, or a wall. It can be like that, or it can be like, where's the eraser? So then we have a wall like this. Oh gosh, what did I? Yeah. Oh god. We have a wall like that. Now we want to check. A couple things we can do is we can either go this way and check, okay, there's an adjacent wall, but that could just be like a little ledge there. You can't really climb on that. I think what we should do is basically, you should only, for now at least, initial implementation, this check is determined by whether, like, the further out you are, yeah, I like this a lot, the further out you are to the wall in which you're planting, that means you can get more speed and jump way further. So, but if you're closer, like, yeah, so then we trace from here, right, and here, left, a certain distance, because you should only be able to jump so far. But in whatever this is, like max adjacent trace or something like that. Let's rub this out. Yeah, whatever max adjacent trace that is, left and right, and then yeah, so we do that left and right to find these adjacent walls based on whatever. Yeah, so if you're closer, so if the wall is actually here and you hit this here, we'll trace here because you're closer to the wall, therefore the distance you get away from it should actually be less, because you can't get the run up to do so. And again, that's a field, that's a factor in here, this forward distance traveled, that will help with the matching process. So, okay, so if we trace left and right of this guy, we should be able to find whatever. Okay. And then, yeah, trace left and right, trying to find. Will there be different types of ledges, like cracks that you can what's interesting currently, the way my run up, it actually finds any kind of ledge, I'm pretty sure, to a certain extent. Yeah, he literally is. So like, I'm pretty sure if I was to have What else to have? Like a little crack out to a certain point, like this little crack. Like there's a little something. Like this is pretty. It's pretty small. I think it'll find it, actually. I actually do think it'll find that. You're pretty sure it will. Yeah, it does. Cool. Wait, funnily enough, it actually does find it. What is the out of curiosity? What is the list I can do? Okay. Let's see. The crimpy nose. It does find it. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, you can be able to do crimpy stuff. Yeah, anyway, so then we trace left and right, find the walls. Then what we can do is, depending on this, we take this angle here and this angle, and then this becomes a variable. This x or whatever tells us the angle of, like, in which do we want to plant, like the plant angle of entry on our plant. So if our plant angle of entry is like, yeah, that's quite like that actually. Yeah, it might be a separate table, quite frankly. I think we might use a separate. I don't think this is a run up. I think it's a tic tac now, rather than a run up. I think it's something a bit different. Because I think I want a different table, because I think there's a load more different variables, and I don't want any table to have a feature vector that's too big, like too many values, because I think then the matching process becomes like to the exact word, like clouded or confused. So minimizing it to 4 or even 3 is so much better. Okay, so then we have this angle of angle of plant. And that's in the animation, which is help determined by whatever this is. And basically to find this, yeah, we're just gonna take this normal here. No, ledge normal this, because then we'll have this there, this from here. They'll just find the angle between them two. There's 2 vectors, and they're both normal, so they're both just directional vectors, so we could just find that angle difference. Which was literally just what's it called? Cos -1 A dot B, the dot product of the two. That'll give us the angle. I believe, yeah, that's right. Good old math. Yeah, whoever said math was useful is a liar. Stuff, I use this all the time now. Yes, okay. There's a lot of crap. Let's just do this. Let's find this wall. Okay, so we find the wall. That's fine. Let's now find any adjacent walls. Let's do step by step. So we find the wall. Beautiful. That's all good. Now let's go step by step. I think step by step is better. And I think I'm gonna make a different data table for this stuff. So it goes into a whole different data table. I think personally, it's not quite a run up. I think a run up should be straight. Tic tac should be completely something different. Because I think then the matching will be more accurate too. Hey, Crazy Croc, how are you? So let's break this down here. So rid of this. If there's a block in here, don't do anything, and just return tic tac trace result. Let's see here. This makes sense to me. This makes sense to me. Does it make sense? Does this make sense? This makes sense. Do that. Check the angle. Get the angle of this. That becomes a variable. X, and then we have in the tic tac table we'll have, I guess this could also be like distance between, distance to wall, distance to forward wall. We have speed, speed of approach, angle of it, that, and I guess this angle here as well we care about. Okay. This makes sense. It doesn't look like it makes any sense, but this makes sense. Could you give me a little summary of what you oh, we'll be here all day. Basically we're doing some run-ups. We're just trying to calculate different, trying to incorporate the angle of approach into how we do the run-up. Because we want to be able to run up onto walls on the side. Basically. When it doesn't open up, damn it. Love it when it doesn't work. Okay. Well, that loads. So I anticipate. Okay, so if we have a hit, then we're gonna do another line trace. We'll do a sphere trace, but it's gonna be another line trace. But the trace start is it says we say trace. Go away, mate. So okay, so if it hits, there's no stress. It finds the run up ledge. That's all cool. Angle of entry is correct. 4-degree angle, yeah, that's all correct, no stress. And if I run straight at it, it should be around 90. There's gonna be a bit of a 89, that's fine. I've got some animations just don't get cooled. They're quite nice. There's one I added that's I really like. Let's see. This first one pisses. I don't really like it. It's just I think it's 3. I think it's 3. Yeah, this one I really like. Oh, I see. That was a lot of fun. But you see there, that warp just isn't. See, it's just not that nice. I don't really like it. It should be like we'll find one that has like a 37. Like so, if we record an animation there, that's like, oh, you want to climb up from 37 degrees at an angle, or whatever it is, like from more angled. Then we have an actual animation for that. Because you'll find the second I start to angle some of these things, the minimum Euclidean distance. I mean, that's alright, but yeah, it's it just starts to increase. So that really should be pretty low. 52 is pretty high for what is seemingly a perfect animation. Okay, anyway, let's go here. So trace isn't, it's not showing anything. Oh, it's because I'm not calling it, am I? Yeah, that's why. Do that. So we'll do the tic-tac check or whatever. It always does this, and if I do it again, it's not going to fail. It's so stupid, and now it succeeds. I mean, this just makes no sense. But now I should get a trace. There we go. Okay. So now, okay, so cool. We got a trace doing whatever. Now we need to trace left and right from the character. Certain distance, like that should really be a value. Let's add a value. Let's add a value. Load max adjacent trace adjacent max run up adjacent. Oh, nah. Max run up adjacent trace distance. How far left and right? Let's just say like 200. Now, how far could someone jump to the left or right? Probably not that far, to be honest, actually. About a meter left or right. Anything beyond that, I mean, we can change it. So we'll just keep that now. So then we want to say, okay, so trace start is equal to character owner get capsule component get location get capsule component location plus. No, it's actually just from the start of it. That's fine. And trace end. Hold on a minute. Okay, a couple ways we could do this. We can either do a trace right and a trace left to determine whether or not. Okay. Yeah, we can shoot a trace to the right to find any right side walls, and shoot a trace to the left to find the left side walls. Yeah, we'd have to do that. Because it wants to be, I want to get the normal coming back onto the character. Okay. Yeah, I don't want it to ever be inside a wall. Yeah, we got to 2 traces. That's fair enough. Let's go trace look for right adjacent wall equals character owner get vector get right vector animal times this by yeah, the max distance just for verbosity. Trace start Trace end. Trace starts there, trace ends there. Let's do another trace. Straight to the right. Does it have it? So no, blah blah blah. So now we'll trace right, try and find the wall. We'll do the same thing left, try and find the wall. If we can find the wall, then we then trace down either side to see if we can find a ledge. So if they both have ledges, then happy days. Because the thing is as well, I was gonna just focus on just the straight ones, but it's really just a case of adding coverage, and my brain can't handle just going through any more animations today, so I'll just try to do a bit of actual coding. Which just led to this. Okay, so now if it hits, should see a trace outright. There we go. From the character. So then if I rotate myself, so if I come in at an angle here, that's another. The reason why I actually like this, because it means that if I want to do, I like this a lot actually, because if I want to do like a 45-degree tic-tac, I've got to be a bit closer to the wall. Because it's like, you can't, like I can't 45-degree tic-tac onto something like all the way over here. I mean, it's just like here, that's just not possible. You have to get more plant power, which is coming from doing this. The meters might be a bit small. I forget that a meter in game is just not, maybe 2 meters. Okay, cool. Let's do the same. I'm gonna take off this because it's just tanking my frame rate. Yeah, so then we're gonna go left rather than right. So let's rerun it. But so now we should have a trace right and a trace left, 2 meters left or right. Then we'll see can we jump to at any point. Again, these are all factors as well that I think, like, it's one of those ones, like, you guys obviously wouldn't see these traces, so you wouldn't know what's happening, but after playing for a while, you don't need to, like, you'll just understand that, oh, if the wall is like slanted, I need to be closer to it, or if I'm coming at a short angle, I need to trigger my jump later in order to get to that wall. Stuff like that. But the learning curve isn't, which again is like something that I mean, you guys can see. So like those that watch the stream, when you play the game, you'll have much more of an idea of how the sort of logic behind stuff works. So you'll pick it up quicker. But I don't think it's too confusing for someone that's never really played to understand the sort of like how it finds a wall, or like not even how it finds a wall, but sort of like the finer details of adjusting your body in order to find the wall, because that really is the key. The key is having an awareness of what your character's doing in order to get the results you want, which like a lot, like, because the body is everything in this game. Like there's no tool or catalyst for movement or whatnot. The body is your main thing. So your speed, your timing, those are the factors that are going to influence what you do. You have to, like, it can't just be done for you. You have to adjust your speed, change your like approach, all that stuff. So now if we hit this wall, yeah, we've got a trace left and we've got a trace right. Beautiful. So now if we look here, trace left, trace right. See, obviously I'm too far off from the wall. Now if I come a bit tighter to it, so be like, okay, a little bit closer. I actually have an adjacent wall on my left and an adjacent wall on my right. Cool. And now what I want to see is basically I want to find that ledge. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Also, this trace radius should really be 0. So that's just a line trace, because performance wise the radius doesn't do anything. But yeah, left and right. I guess there's so many things being reused right now that it's really annoying me. I want to optimize it now, but for the sake of prototyping, I'm gonna leave it. Like, this is just the same thing with like this changing. Like, this should just be a function, you know what I mean? I will do that for now for the sake of prototype. I'm gonna leave it superimposed and just like, this is what it does, then it does this, then it does that, then I'll fix it up and clean everything up. So look for the adjacent right wall. Look for adjacent left wall. Oh, I made the caps. Yeah, cool. So look for the wall on the right, look for the wall on the left. Then we're saying okay, then let's do this. Wall as the adjacent Boolean adjacent right wall equals, this is like a tertiary if, so basically we say the way this works is you can just do it in one line rather than having to say if this else blah blah blah. We just say if hits dot, if there's a blocking hit, then this is going to equal true, otherwise it's going to be false. But with these tertiary ifs, they always got to come on the right of the statement, so you never do them on the left and then do something. These always equal something. Something equals this. Sorry. So yeah, let me say if there is a blocking hit. Yeah. So if there's a blocking hit in this wall, so that means we have hit something, then we found the right wall. Do the same thing but for the left wall. Then we see, okay, so we found the right wall, found the left wall. I'm gonna kill these traces for the sake of performance, and instead just add a debug string. Does it have an adjacent right wall? Does it have an adjacent left wall? Let's rerun that real quick. And then basically what we'll say is if it does have that, then we'll have like a 2 checks, like they were saying. If adjacent left wall, again, this can be optimized. So we can do checks and then we only run a function that depends on one function does both, the other function does, like it can be optimized like no tomorrow, but I'll do that later. If there is an adjacent left wall, we should do it right really. If there is an adjacent right wall, then we're going to do this next trace, which is this beautiful here. These are all values already, so Ram C is not value. What do you mean? Yeah, hits the input point, which is, see, this is when you need to do stuff properly. I hate when you realize you have to do things properly. Ugh, boring. We say if the right wall does hit something, guess we don't really need this then. These variables are a bit useless, quite frankly. Because they're just there storing it, but it don't really matter to us. Like really, because I can just use this value here. Like it doesn't. I don't need to have a variable to hold this value. I have access to this value already. Let me just check this debug real quick. It doesn't have any other crap on. Yeah, it's got right wall, doesn't have left wall. Cool. Also, time to display. Damn, 0 seconds, please. I want that thing on my screen for too long. Yeah, if there's a right wall, then we'll say we'll keep a variable for now. It's more verbose, makes sense. We'll change it. I don't know. I can't. It's just useless. It doesn't make any sense why it's there. It literally has no reason to be there. Like I just don't need it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just useless. It serves no purpose. I mean, it's just completely useless. She serves no purpose. What would you say with the one? So yeah, if there is an adjacent right wall, let's call it something good. So let's say right adjacent ledge hits. Cheers, lad. Appreciate it. We do the same on the left. How ugly this code is. It's really annoying me. Like, I can't even explain to you how ugly all this stuff is, but I just want to see if it works. No worries. My name's David. Nice to meet you. Here, if there's an adjacent left wall, check for right ledge on that one. So adjacent left ledge hits. Hit the left adjacent hits. Alright, let's just see what's cracking. Who knows? Probably gonna work. We'll see. Oh. Yeah, that's fine, but one of the things is when you do the check, it's like it hits the wall technically. But yeah. We need this. Let's just do this. Yeah, if they hit from... God, it's such a bad code. Alright, so... If... I mean, this could really be encapsulated within this if, so that's not called unless it needs to be called. So if this has a hit, so if the left adjacent hits has a hit, so we've hit a wall. Okay, let's check for ledge, and then we'll say if the left adjacent ledge hits, yeah, it's got a blocking here and the dot vector of that. it's greater than that. Basically, so what this then does here, just so in case you're wondering, the dot vector of something just tells you like how much one vector is in the direction of another. So if the dot vector is 1, that means the two vectors are parallel. So if I have the normal of the surface is like, if I shoot here, the normal surface is perpendicular to the flat of the surface, so the normal will be like here. So the dot vector will tell me like between 0 and 1, like sort of like it's a value, like it's between 0 and 1, minus 1, and it'll tell me how much one vector is in the direction of another vector. So like if it's 0, it's like no, but if it's 1, that means they're like parallel to each other, so they're both like this. So I check here if the dot vector of the impact normal and the up vector of the capsule, which is like just the up vector of the character, I say greater than 0.99 rather than equal 1 because of this floating point error. So like if I say A equals 1.0, B equals 1.00, technically A does not equal B in Unreal. Whereas like, yes they do, but because we don't know, because this could be, do you know what I mean? So technically they don't equal because there's a floating point difference. So if we just say it's greater than 0.99, close enough, that's, you know what I mean? Then it's like, yeah. So yeah, then you need this to basically say like, the two aren't, so it's not an initial collision, so that we do this basically. So when if you see the trace, I do like a trace. So the ledge is here, and I trace. Oh god, so the ledge is here, and I do like a capsule trace down, like so you have a little bit of leeway. But then you basically, because this is like to simulate hand room, so room to actually like, so it's an actual like ledge in the air. It's because like you need somewhere to place your hands on. Because if it's just like, if this is colliding with something, so say there's a wall here, and I start the trace here, there's an initial overlap. So there's initially starts penetrating up at the start of the trace, which means that there's not enough gap for the hand to go through. At the moment, this value is 20 centimeters, but this can be whatever. Like this could be 5, and it'd be like there. So again, that could be like your crimpy stuff. Yeah, but this just determines whether or not there's enough of a gap between the surfaces to be able to grab. I just use 20 for now. Yeah, basically. That's that line of code explained. So, and this also helps check that it's not inside the wall. Like the ledge isn't inside a wall. So yeah, and then cool. Then what we do, you take this location, and then we want to say oh, I don't know why I did that. Yeah, so then we're gonna say oh, I'm so stupid. I should have just done one for the right, none for the left. See, this function, this entire thing could just be done once for the right and then once for the left and set as 2 values. See, this is just the stupidity of it. This is why, but it's fine. That's optimization. The location is going to be this because we're tracing down to find the ledge. Whereas the normal is actually just going to be the left adjacent hits impact normal, because that's basically where we find the wall, like the hits of the wall. Because we don't care about the ledge normal, we care about the wall normal, where we're taking the actual location normal, right? Because that's what we're going to rotate the character to and all that. Okay, and this will draw a debug sphere at that point. So, with that being said, let's do this for the right hand. And then I believe it's just like behind. It's like giving errors that don't exist. Excuse me. Why is it displaying it longer than 0? That's what I'd like to know. That is what I would like to know. Still like, what is going on there? That should work, quite frankly. Let's rebuild this whole thing. Mother. What the? Oh. I'm doing it in a for loop. That's why. Yeah. That's why. Let's go through this. So it does all the traces up. That's fine. If it hits the wall, look for the right adjacent wall. If that hits, look for a right adjacent wall. If that hits, look for a left adjacent wall. If that hits something, if the right adjacent wall hits something, so we have a wall there, trace down. Yeah, trace down. Trace down. Trace down. Trace down. If that has a hit and is the dot weight the same and it's not penetrating, then draw a debug sphere. To be fair, there is no debug sphere being drawn. Let me just debug these traces so I can see what has actually been done. I'm really hungry. I need to get some food in a sec. You know what I'm gonna do? What in the lordy lord? Only showing one though. I'm not seeing no debug sphere. Get rid of this. Did you know that's correct already? Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. The stupid left and right trace, it doesn't go up. Like the left and right trace doesn't actually go up. Because if you look here, such an idiot, man. Where is it? The left, it just starts at the same point. It goes from the character owner to trace start plus this. This here needs to, just as this goes up here, you see this? It needs this value here. Hell, stupido. So dumb, man. I was wondering. I was like, what the hell is going on here? But here, it's that. That is the trace start. Because then it doesn't ever move upwards. It just stays in the same location, and that's why I was wrong. Like the actual trace for the wall was just going. I was doing like tons of traces in the same location sideways. Makes so much sense. Nope. What is going on here? Come on, don't be like this. There it is. Oh my. Well, there we go. You actually see the ledges, the two ledges. Okay. Okay. Now let's get rid of a load of these debug crap. It's just messy. Very, very messy. Let's go to the... Okay, let's build again. What to do? Build again now, and then we should, fingers crossed, not have any traces visible. But yeah, live coding sucks apparently, so we gotta do it again. Build again. There we are. Beautiful. Okay, awesome. So now if you look, we find two ledges, and the ledges, sometimes you can angle yourself off, and this worked quite well actually, because it's based on the right vector. So like I'm too far left, I can't get across to that one. If I move across this way and center myself, I can do both. So this is pretty cool. So if you wanted to do like a double, you have to really be in the middle. But if you see here, I'm slightly rotated to the right, which means the ledge point on the left that I can grab is a bit closer because I can't get as far away. This is quite good. And as I turn, the ledge point on the tic tac increases, so I can get further away based on the angle of entry. But then if I just run straight, I just go up straight on. But that's just too far. I'm too slow. Okay. Ignore that. Alright, so that actually works. We actually find the adjacent ledge. This is so much crap code. I don't even want to look at this code. I feel so disgusted for reading it. But okay, so now we find our adjacent, our left one, and we find our right one. So really, mm-hmm. So what we don't want to say is basically we do this tic-tac check. Now this returns this array that has the two values. How do I handle this actually? You know, I think for now, let's just do it everything going right for now. Well, because basically, you can have more than one climb point then, realistically. which is a bit interesting actually. That changes the game a bit because I return with his tic tacs, you can now have 2 climbing points. You can either have a climbing point on the left or the climbing point on the right. So the ledge data no longer has like one exclusive point. Interesting. So the first element, so this is the left one. If the left, which one gets added in first actually? Pretty sure it goes left. It goes right then left actually. So if the right one, so if there's a valid right tic tac ledge, so if that is a valid climb, then we'll say tic tac. So it checks if there's a valid right tic tac ledge. So if so, then we'll say the tic tac right ledge data is equal to that, and if so, the tic tac left ledge data is equal to that. Okay. Yeah. And then I guess we can do it in the run up. still, quite frankly. Because I mean, currently, so like, see, I think realistically, this is when I'd have a separate function for called climb tic tac, where you do a tic tac up the wall, rather than doing a run up, and that. But that does mean having a separate data table for everything. So like, this is currently held in this, the tic tacs, here. But I think we need a separate data table and a different function to handle it. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get some food, I think. Let me think. It's like, yeah, because then we say if so, this basically checks. Okay, if that's valid, do that. If that's valid, do that. Then I guess we can do. Yeah, I guess then we could do one other thing, which I guess is try. Unless we didn't check if. So, if this is not empty, no. If so, if the right or the left one are valid climb, because these only get set if these are valid. So then we say if the right or the left is a valid climb, yeah, that's when we call. If not, then we do this. Then we do the drop down. So X if there is a valid tic tac ledge. If so, do form tic tac. To tic tac matching. We'll just call this up. That's fine. Because now all I need to do is, just like I've done the drop downs, the drop offs, same thing. I just need to add another data table and then fill that out with the animations, which is just really another struct here. If you see I have like run up montage, I'm going to do tic tac montage. And this is good because this is the proper way to do it, because then I can have stuff like, that means I don't need these stuff here. These values in this other one, I don't need anymore. But now in this one, I can have stuff like, and like whether or not this kind of tic tacs requires both feet. If so, then you need both. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then next plan of action is create a data table for the tic tacs, add the montage, make the struct so I have like this, and then play the animation, the tic tac animation. Let me just. Yeah. Let me just make sure there's no debugs anywhere else. Like then I just want to basically say, it should just be like if it finds a wall, um, yeah, if it finds a wall, it should just yeah, if it finds a wall on the right or the left, it's gonna go into tic tacs, but it takes both and say, okay, then it goes into tic tacs, and in the tic tacs it says, oh, I've got a wall on the left and on the right, by the way, um, that we can tic tac on, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool, let's do it. That we need. There's another thing that we need to do as well. It's like we got to determine whether or not it's like a hanging ledge. So like sometimes you can find a ledge, but it's like suspended in the air, and that means you can't actually do a tic tac. But I think those are filtering checks that we'll do inside the calculate optimal tic tac montage. Finding the ledge just completely different. So logic wise, for now, it's actually fine. So yeah, let's just do this. It should hopefully, if we find a wall, it should say that do a tic tac now, regardless of whether we have one or regardless of whether we have both. So if we have just one, it should still say do a tic tac. If we have both, it should still say do a tic tac. If you have none, it shouldn't say it. Oh yeah. I think at that point I'll go get some food. I'm happy with that. That is the basic logic and the base logic for doing tic tacs. Should actually be able to do it like now. Actually, quite frankly, once you have the ledges set up, doing the actual tic is pretty easy to me. Like it's actually really easy. Um, yeah, it's actually really easy. The only thing that might be a bit long is getting the values for matching, like the distance and stuff in code. But other than that, so here, as I get closer to this wall, I should see some orange stuff appear. Tic tac, do one now. Nice. So if I let that all die out, go away. If I then go like right by the right side of this wall and do one, should still do it. Yeah, we really have one. Nice. But then if I then move all these walls away, shouldn't do anything. Nice. Cool. That works. That works. Alright, I'm gonna check this in. These are, I think, yeah, getting the angle of entries for this stuff. Yeah, I think that's the next challenge. But I really don't think it's actually going to be that too bad, too hard to be honest. It's the same logic, angle of entry wise. And then I think the only thing I need to have put some thought into is actually creating this, like what matching variables I want for this tic tac stuff. I think we'll have some filters in terms of it needs both, it needs that, and then we'll have the matching variables. So that's going to be angle of entry, all that crap. Cool. Awesome. Let's clean this up. One thing I can get rid of is all. This can be optimized so much as well. So never there, never done. Cool. Let me check this in. Awesome. Cool. On that note, I'm gonna grab some food, guys. 2.5 hours. Yeah, it's a nice stream. Cheers for sticking around. I'll be streaming later probably. If I'm not, I'll stream tomorrow and do a nice long one. Probably will just do tomorrow. I'm quite tired, a bit ill to be honest. So yeah, but yeah, sweet. Awesome, guys. I'll catch you in a bit. Peace out.